Hi, everybody. Welcome to match day 7. As you can see, we got skunked again. Got 3'd on 2600, and our opponent knew it, and our opponent knew everything else too. So we are now in 7th place after 6 matches. Not much to say about the defense there. We defended the league more or less accurately. Hard to distinguish between a 58 and a 60. So everything was pretty tough yesterday. The easiest question being a 60 because of Henry Hines. Then the 58 on Tenochtitlan, which honestly I would have thought would have gotten like 70 or 75% from that cluing. But I'm like Latin America is my area, so I'm extremely biased on that. We did get Frosty with perfect defense, so which did matter because he got us on the 2600 thing. So that meant that we had to play pretty decent defense anyway to avoid a tie or a loss. So sorry, we have done so. All right, so now it's time to move to match 7. All right. Dmitri Shostakovich's 1934 opera, Opus 29, was an instant critical and public success, though not in the eyes of the Soviet regime, until it was cleaned up as Katerina Ismailova in 1962. The work actually had nothing to do with William Shakespeare, despite what name in its title. Okay, so Shostakovich wrote an opera called Lady Macbeth of the Mitensk district, or Lady Macbeth of Mitensk, which comes up. I only know it because of Quiz Bowl. It's popular to ask about because of the title, in a way. Like it appeals to people to remember because it has a quirky title like this. Lady Macbeth is the correct answer, which is tough. It's not a name, so that's going to be difficult for some folks. All right, question 2. A lumpy aromatic resin obtained by tapping the trunks of trees of the tropical Boswellia genus, and a gummy resin bled from a tree of the Commiphora genus. These two items very often appear in a set with what third rather dissimilar item? Okay. All right. So we got some resin. All right. Those are probably frankincense and myrrh, right? Frankincense would be the aromatic one, and myrrh would be the kind of ointmenty one, gummy one. Yeah. Right. So gold. Rather dissimilar. Makes sense. Yeah, I'm not going to come up. Very often, yeah, I mean, what else is it going to be? Like, I guess it could be something else, but I know those are both various forms of, like, unguent or whatever, so that might be the wrong word, but you know what I mean. They're like, yeah, they're bottles of liquid, so yeah, that makes sense. All right, question 3. The Method School of Acting is regularly linked to what famed acting teacher who advocated the Stanislavski-influenced style during his 30-plus years as director of the nonprofit Actors Studio? Okay, this is something I've collected solely for purposes of trivia. The guy's name is Lee Strasberg, who directed the Actors Studio and is the Strasberg method acting guy. That is something. That's definitely our keeper of the day. This is the kind of thing that doesn't come up that often, like all the time or anything, but it is something I could see coming up on Jeopardy. Maybe it has in terms of level, and it's definitely something that's going to be asked about forever and ever, because method acting is an interesting thing. So anyway, yeah. Question 4. What are the 3 main ancient Greek orders of architecture listed from least to most ornamental, which is also the order in which they developed? Okay, these are Doric, Ionic, Corinthian. This is this is know it or you don't. Anyway, Doric are plain. Ionic are what I would call the columns that you think of when you think of like Greek columns. They have the like scroll work on top and the ribs, if you know what I mean. And then Corinthian columns are very ornate and have leaves at the top. So Yes, and Doric, I believe, are plain, like relative, almost totally plain, but they have they bulge so that they look like they go higher or something like that. But anyway, these are the three. That's another keeper. So we got a double keeper today. That one is probably good to know in order. Anyway, question 5. This Southeast Asian country's east includes the majorities of the country's land mass and most of its natural resources, but 80% of the country's citizens live in the separate peninsular west. What is the country? Well, okay. The southern and western part of Thailand is a peninsula. And the biggest part is in the north. It bulges in the north. But I feel like that's more like south-north, right? So I know that like Malaysia is west, has a part on the peninsula, the Malay Peninsula, and then a part, on sort of, the islands there. I feel like most of the people live on the mainland, right? Oh, the majority of the country's landmass. For some reason, I was thinking it was saying it had 80% because of the other 80%. Yeah. Okay, so the majority of the country's landmass. Yeah, that's easy. It didn't feel like maybe 80% of Malaysia wasn't the continental part, but that doesn't matter. So yeah, this is definitely Malaysia. All right, question 6. Although the speech best remembered is perhaps perhaps best remembered. Hold on. Yeah. I'm making my video. Okay. I'll be done in a second. Sorry, we have a lot of people in my house right now, so she probably didn't hear me talking. I'm going to help my wife in a moment. I'll go fast. Ann Richards' George Bush was born with a silver foot in his mouth declamation. The 1988 Democratic National Convention is also remembered for a long and tedious nomination speech that some considered ruinous to the career of the politician who gave it, quite incorrectly as it turned out. Who gave this widely panned speech? It was Bill Clinton. Definitely gave a long speech at the 88 convention. He's also just the correct answer given the quite incorrectly as it turns out bit. Okay. Doing some defense. All right. How's McHugh on film? McHugh's really good on film. All right. I feel like I have to put a 1 on Strasbourg anyway because it's not strictly a film and it's a little harder than some of these things. Classical music is 31%. I feel like Lady Macbeth is not necessarily who you're going to guess is a name from Shakespeare because it's kind of only like sort of a name. It's not, Romeo or something. So Juliet or, Julius Caesar or anything. So I feel like that gets a 3. The 0, I feel like I can give to Bill Clinton. How's your U.S. history? As long as it's not disastrous. Yeah, that's just got to be right. Malaysia's a 2 with the geography 48%. All 3 Greek orders in order with the 30. Okay, that's the other 2. I do feel like Lady Macbeth of Mcensk is harder. I think most people won't know it at all. So that leaves a 1 for gold there. All right. Larry Asher is a smart man. I feel like he's probably not going to get Lady Macbeth, though, with a 48% classical. He might. Larry always and often, pulls things out. I see it happen all the time. I feel like the 0 is right for Bill Clinton for him too. I mean, he'll he's maybe a little older than me as well. I mean, I remember, this story, even though I was 7 at the time. I remember hearing about it in '92, and he's going to remember it for sure. This, I feel like is possible. It's so possible to know the 3 orders, but then not get them right. So that's why that gets a 2. Not get them in the right order. He'll probably know Strasbourg. Indy is Jewish. Does that make him less likely to know? Gold, frankincense, and myrrh, maybe like marginally, right? But it would still probably occur to him. I mean, everybody knows that, kind of thing from just being around. But I think This is still better. It's a puzzler. Maybe that'll trip him up. It's just probably likely to know this. I feel like this is kind of his thing to know. Maybe not, though. Ugh, oh, well. I mean, it's 1 point. I've got a 6. So really, we're just trying to find the 0. Not going to sweat over it too much. I think we got a 6, don't we? Stelling, Macbeth, Gold. Yeah. I mean, this is the only one I'm not sure about. I'm sure about all these others, I think. Pretty sure about this one now. Macbeth, Gold, Strasbourg, Doric, Ionic, Corinthian. Okay, glad I didn't mess that up somehow. Malaysia and Bill Clinton. All right, sweet. So that's a 6. I feel like it's a good 6 with Lady Macbeth and the Greek orders and Lee Strasberg all being there. I maybe should have given that a 2, but I am happy with that, and I think we will have a good day. All right. Have a good weekend, everybody. Good luck on World Quizzing Championships. This is my maiden voyage. I hope to do well. If I don't, I will blame Paul Piquet. So, Piquet, not sure. Anyway, see y'all later. See y'all on Monday. Bye-bye.